Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Try It Out Tuesday. Are we all good? I do hope so. Right, I'm just going to get all the deets up on my phone so we can have a look at this awesome new doodle art set, the Dancing Daisy. Right. Honestly, all will be, announced soon as to why I'm such a, useless person with the words and the sentence making and stuff at the minute. But we'll circle back. Is everyone alright? Hello, Alison, darling. You okay? How was work today? Was it alright? Alrighty. Turn that off. Don't need that. Here we go. Hiya, Sue. How are you doing, my love? I hope good. Annie! For those of you guys who were not able to watch any of the earlier lives, please go back and check them out. Anne did some beautiful background work today using the mirror blocks. I know I've done a couple of lives on the mirror blocks now, but Anne used them, but that's me mainly showing you the techniques and stuff. Anne actually used them to make a complete project, and I think it's really just another good way of showing you how to use them to make a background and things like that. So, brilliant. Interesting they found out what you're doing next year. Fantabulous. I hope it's all positive. You're good, you're on a week's holiday. Nice. Tight. Okay. I think Facebook stopped doing the notifications again. So that's not fabulous, but we'll give it another couple of seconds and then we'll all just crack on. We'll just crack on with it, So, yes, wasn't Annie's live fabulous? Sally's was also good too. And really, what I love about the two lives is it's not, they're not a million miles different in colour palette, but the actual finished result is really different. So, and you could swap the colour palettes from the two as well, quite well, and I think that'd be nice. You could really mix and match Annie and Sally's live quite well. Right, okay, let's crack on. So, if you have missed it, today we have launched the Doodle Art Dancing Daisy. It's a dancing daisy because the petals look like they're dancing. It's that simple, really. Sally, who, unlike me, is not horticulturally challenged, did give me a couple of examples of what sort of daisy it might be. But, yeah, I just went with dancing daisy because it looks like the petals are dancing. It's that simple, really. If you don't like it, well, there's not much I can do about it. That's what it's called. So that's what it's called. And on this stamp set, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stamps. Blooming lovely. I think you'll agree. Okay. You've got the 4 words that do come as one stamp set, but you could always snip them separately if you wanted to. Our beautifully creative team are getting really snip happy at the minute, chopping stamps up, lopping off heads. All sorts. Renegades they are becoming. And then you've got a smaller mirror image version of this daisy. You've got this little squiggly bit, sort of like one of our journal art elements. So a great building block, okay, to build up scenes and just build up backgrounds. And then 2 little squiggly borders in a real sort of doodly freehand style. Now, the reason I think these sort of borders are so popular is because they look hand-drawn. You're adding in that hand-drawn look, but you don't have to worry about getting it regular and getting the lines, do you know what I mean? Because they're all there. Okay, so it's all just about making that mix. So in terms of offers, this was actually going to be just a little Try It Out Tuesday launch, and then our beautiful creative team were like, no, let's get involved, let's do some lives. And I have to say, absolutely wonderful totally outstanding. So if you're not a member of the Bee Crafty Stamps group, make sure you head on over there, because Anne's live is there. I am going to try and get it to YouTube, but I don't know if I can. Sally's live is on the Bee Crafty page, so I know I'll be able to get that onto YouTube. So you may also be able to catch up there. I'm going to start with a lot of the lives that we're putting onto YouTube and things like that, actually putting a note in the title of what stamps are being used, if there is specific stamps, because that way it should make it easier to find them. But you will also find that in the description as well, because we have fallen a little behind with YouTube at the minute, but there's lots of things going on. And I'm just all over the place. So what we're going to do is, because what I normally do when we're doing the launch, isn't it, is I start by stamping everything out in black and white for you, because that's just what we like to do. So I'm going to grab some Slims, because they're down here in a box, because I had all these wonderful intentions of taking them in the kitchen, which by the way is about 6 steps away from where the blocks currently are, and giving them all a wash. And obviously, you know what they say about the road to hell in good intentions, so there we are. So yeah, so you've got the 7 stamps on here. Obviously the focus one being this big daisy. Okay, something we're regularly asked about the doodle art is, you know, if you can completely copy the colours that I've done on the front. Absolutely, that's what they're there for. They're there as an inspirational thing. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly why we colour in the doodle arts, because people said they wanted them like that. Now it's quite a long stem on this Dancing Daisy, which means, and it's quite open here, which means you can, for example, look, that's twisting it a lot more than it is on there. It means you can actually twist it the other way, even without cutting the leaves off or anything. Okay, so you can really manipulate that to suit your project really well. Okay, like I said, what we'll do is we'll stamp out in black and white, so you can see all the stamps. So I'm doing it that way just to keep the stem as accurate to what it looks like on your backing card. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that up with my Versafine Clear. I'm going to stamp that onto our white card here. Applying pressure all over a little bit. Now, if you are just starting out stamping, or, oh, I've gone over the edge, or you're not a confident stamper, to be honest, I do always recommend the doodle art. And the reason being for that is they're drawn in a really sort of loose, relaxed style. You can tell the doodle art, a Bee Crafty doodle art stamp from the others, because there's generally 3 lines to each element. Okay, I'll pick up the one off stamp. How about that? Okay, so if you look here, there's 3 lines to each petal. There's 3 lines to the leaves. There's 3 lines either side of the stem, and all this sort of thing. So there's 3 lines. So what that means is, if you're not confident in stamping, or you feel like you regularly miss bits, or things like that, you can go in with your pen and add them in, and they're going to look like they belong. Okay, they are going to look like they belong, which is wonderful. You haven't dropped the sentiment yet. Okay. So yes, we've had the 2 lives from Sally and Anne today. But Alison has also created lots of beautiful samples. Absolutely stunning samples. My particular favourite is the pale blue one that's got 3 of the daisy heads in the middle. They'll all be on the group for you to go and refer to when you get your stamp sets through. Okay, so this is just a little version. Super cutie. Okay, and then I'll tell you what, we'll do both the borders at the same time, because, you know, sometimes I just like to walk on the wild side. Now again, these are really sort of narrow, so you can actually really make shapes with these if you want. And you can stamp them like that, so it's going to look like you've hand drawn a wiggly line or whatever, but you don't have to. You can just stamp them up. So what I'll do is, to get them straighter, what I'll do is, or you can put them along a line on a ruler, then put them there and pick them up. Okay, and then we're going to ink those up. And put those on there. So you can easily see you can join these together. Also, you do have an open end on the Dancing Daisy if you want to add some more onto that. Okay, it's not a closed edge. Alrighty. And then, so these are your 4 words. Now, they are quite close together, I won't lie to you, but you can definitely get the live and the wildly off really easily. Going between the simply and the bloom will take a little bit more effort. But I'm absolutely positive it isn't anything you guys can't handle. Okay, live simply, bloom wildly. Then we're going to go for this sort of journal art element. I think that's what I'm going to keep referring to it as, because that's where I think it would fit best. If I was just putting it into another stamp set randomly, it would be in with the journal art elements, wouldn't it? And then we'll go on with these again. I suppose that's quite a journal art element too. These triangles, which I think it's Anne has used on one of hers, and she's individually cut them out and then made like white pennants down the side. Really, really beautiful. Okay, so if you look there, absolutely beautiful. Could not be better. Alright. So there you go. So that's something to look forward to on Sunday, by which time most of you should have had your dancing daisies if you've used them today. Alison is going to put on the blog descriptions of what she's used to make each of her samples. So that's going to be really awesome if you're looking for some weekend crafty inspiration as well. Okay, right, does anyone have anything specific they would like to see with these stamps, or am I just going to freestyle it? Because that concerns me. You know, I feel like there's been a lot of rogueness happening today with snippy stamps and all sorts of things. And I won't lie, I've been tidying up my craft room and my desk is actually quite tidy. I think that's quite obvious because there's nothing sticking in from the edge as normal. And now I don't know where half my stuff is. Hence the Super Skin Slims in a box. Okay, but I think the thing with these, you didn't cut the triangle stamp up. No, I meant you cut the little triangles out separately to create the white pennants. Like I say, I think the thing with these is if you are starting out crafting or stamping especially, or even if you're not starting out stamping, say you've been doing it for years and you're like, what? No matter what I try, I can't get all the lines out. Okay, first of all, a Super Skinny Slim we find really easy for that because you can flex it and bend it, but I'm sure you may have already tried that. The thing with the Doodle Art is you can get your Art Line Secura fine liner pen out. Okay, add it in, and even if it looks different, no one's going to know because it's got these 3 lines on it. Okay, so right, so we're going rogue then. I honestly have no idea what I'm about to do. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to get my large daisy, okay, and I'm going to put that possibly twice on this piece of card depending on how well I stamp it the first time. There is a fly in my craft room. There has not been a fly in here all day. And I would hit it, but it's on one of my lights. Okay. So I'm going to put this one at the top here. I'm just going to flex. And then I'm going to ink it up again. I won't lie, I've been getting a bit, is that a bit on a jaunty angle? Maybe a little bit, whatever. I've been getting a little bit frustrated with some of my stamping whilst it's been so hot. Especially doing some of my painting samples, because everything's just drying so quickly. Right, and then I'm just going to ink up the end of this stem again. Okay. Hang on, I just need to lean in for this bit. I'm just going to lean in to make that stem a bit longer. Okay. So then we've got 2 of our dancing daisies on our layer. And then we're going to just clean that off. I'm then going to go in with my border next. Okay. We're going to ink this up. Do it a little bit straighter than that. It's what I sometimes do just to make sure they're straight, is just stretch them out just a little bit. I just help. I'm going to ink that up. Put that there. Do you know what? I think I'm going to do another one. These would also make really good sort of substitute skinny stems if you just wanted to do the head of the flower coming out of these. I think that would look really nice. So these are on a launch offer. They are on the website, and we've also got the other doodle art stamps on offer with them. Okay, but for now we're not, I mean, we said at the end of last year we were going to have to stop doing it, but for now all the Bee Crafty stamps still have free P&P on. We will honestly keep that going as long as we can, but I don't know how long it will be. Because that's one of those things, it's just, you know, we keep it going forever if we can. I remember once I was at a show and a lady said to me, well, why don't you do Inkables free P&P? I was like, it's one of them, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you do, someone always wants something else. Okay, and I'll do, I just need a piece of card, which I'm just going to put up against this stem here. So I'm just going to overlap it just a tiny bit. So it would be behind that one. You could use your mask sheets. I am going to do some more mask sheet try out Tuesdays because I had somebody asking about that. But obviously we were doing a new launch today, which is why I haven't really brought them in today. I should have, but I didn't. Luce, there is not room in here for you, my love. To anyone new here, Lucy is the dog. I'm not kicking away a person. I'm not kicking the dog either. I don't know why I said that. But Lucy, there is no room for you in here, my love. There's been craft-a-lanching all over the place. Put that in there. Okay, so basically I'm using all my stamps. I'm going in and making this panel. I'm going to use all the stamps on the set. Okay. So I honestly think this would work so well with so many of your doodle arts. I will also say thank you so much for everyone with your understanding about me not being able to do Try It Out Tuesday. But you know, when lightning kicks out your internet, you're sort of stuck. I couldn't believe it. It blew up my phone. And the ADSL filter for my internet. I just didn't have any. There was none. Okay, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to put it head to toe on this one. Okay, and then I think we're going to stop. Now, I'm going to colour this in. So in order to make that happen cleanly and easily, I'm going to grab some embossing powder. In my embossing powder tub. See, I told you I've been tidying. Okay. And I'm just going to go in with some superfine clear. Now, on our website we sell the Ranger, and I have a lot of people say to me, well, why? Because this is stamping stuff, detail clear. Well, if you're selling the Ranger, why did you buy stamping stuff? Well, I didn't. It's an old tub. And I'm not going to waste it. And I wouldn't expect you to either. You know, why would I'm not going to chuck away a what is obviously very full tub of embossing powder. That's just silly. And I'm not a silly Billy. Well, not in this situation anyway. Okay. Now I'm going to take my heat tool. So you can see that's sort of giving it sort of a pastel-y grey look. Now, think about all the time that's passed between... There isn't any carpet bits in that. My darling, if embossing powder falls on this floor, there is no saving it. It's gone. Honey, it's gone. Tip from Samantha Green, though. If you do drop your embossing powder on the floor, don't hoover it up. And that is the voice of experience. She melted it into her vacuum cleaner. I won't say Hoover because it wasn't a Hoover, and you always get someone going, was it actually a Hoover? No, it was a Dyson, I believe. And embossing powder is thermographic. And she melted it into a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, see, you're all doing shocked, sad faces for her. I laughed my ruddy socks off. Because, you know, that's how we roll around here. She would have laughed at me. But I was very sympathetic at first. Oh, is it okay? And she went, no, Beverly, it isn't. And then used a word I won't use. She went, it's. And let's just say the essence of that was not okay. Alright. So, and then, which means I have overheated that a little. But that's okay. The whole point is, the reason I've embossed that is actually to stop me smudging the black ink. So that's okay. But I have to say, that card, I'm not necessarily a fan of the old embossing powder. I wonder how it's going to react to eco lines. That's something to look forward to. Let's give it a go. Okay. So we've got eco lines. And I've got a palette here with some dried Dilutions spray in it. Okay. Well, vacuums do get hot and oily, you see. That's the issue. They do get hot. And Sam said, oh my goodness, look how foolish I have been. Okay, it wasn't quite those words, but I feel I've got the essence of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. I've got some not very clean water. And we're just going to wake these colours back up. Okay, you see how that's just reactivated? Oh, J-Mac, how you doing, my lovely? I didn't see you. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to just come in around here with some oranges. Here we go. Oh, I got a yellow in here. I bet you I haven't. Where is my dilution spray? See, here's me changing plan already. So what I do, you see, is I just put a little bit of dilution spray in my palette. I've done this on Freehand Friday several times, so you may have seen me do it on there. Because when it dries, it really doesn't matter. Because you can just reactivate it later. So just going to go around here. A bit more of the orange. I did have a smaller brush. But what will be unsurprising to most of you is I've got no idea where that is. Okay, and then I'm going to get that yellow back in down here. And then I've got some bluey greeny. We're going to pull in down here. And we're just going to formulate a background working around these. Now you could stamp these and cut them out if you didn't want to work around them, but as you can see, it really doesn't take that long. We're just going around creating some funky colours. And the beauty of it is I don't even know what colours I'm using at the minute, so I'm just picking up some of the dried ones off my palette. What I love about the dilutions is the vibrancy. It's fun. Okay, I need something else. What else do I need? I think I need a little bit more blue. Okay. Like I said, what's great about this is even if you over pour, doesn't matter. Just leave it to dry. The border we can just go over, so that's fine. Go over that join a little, I think. It's working beautifully. Got a little bit of that. Ah, that's more yellow now. And back in with the orange, I think. Just come up around here. You could do this technique with the ink from your Eco lines, absolutely, if you're going on a palette. Or do your blended matte. That would work. Okay. A bit more orange coming up here. I think we might need a bit of red. Okay, but you can see just by watering some of it down and really changing those tones. You've got that too. Aren't I being good? I haven't used any purple. Do you know what? We're going to leave the purple. I'm going to use some of that for the flowers in a bit. Because we are going to keep adding more colour. This is going to be a colour bonanza. Okay. Let's turn it upside down. Like I say, turn your project, not yourself. There we go. I'm going to water that one down a little bit. You really, now we always say when you're using your sprays, you don't use a lot, you know, because a lot goes a long way. Hence why you have to be careful of cast off and whatever. But when you're painting with it, it seems to go even further. So, you know, don't be afraid to really water it down. Especially when it comes to the point where you're sort of blending it out. Come back this way now. That sort of like a nice tone. What's that? Can't remember. That's the only problem with the palette. Is remembering which colour. Now obviously you can write in pen on the lid and you'd remember. But that sounds like a level of organisation we all know I'm not capable of. So I do feel like we need a red. Maybe. What I'm going to do is just get my cloth and then just it's not a dry brush, it's just making sure I'm not adding more ink to it. I'm just sort of going to dab the water on and let the edges sort of bleed into themselves. Okay, so I'm going to do some more orange coming out of here. I'm actually loving the orange. I'm assuming, as it's still on my desk, it is the Tangerine Dream, but I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I'm just saying I could be. Okay. You're watching on silent in hospital. I don't know why I whispered. She already said I was on silent. But you do that, don't you? If someone's on the phone and they whisper, you whisper back. And it's not you that needs to whisper, it's them. Oh, we're strange human beings. I tell you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a little waft with the old heat tool. While I gaze around me for my small brush that I know I found whilst I was tidying up. And I decided to not keep it in a special place, I'm sure, and put it in with the rest of my brushes. But I cannot see it. So it turns out that was one of my more foolish ideas. I mean, there's loads to choose from, but still. I could have at least put it in the pot next to it. But I didn't. Okay. So, what does everybody think so far? Does everybody think this was worth doing? Well, I do. So there we go. That's alright then, isn't it? Okay. And then, here we go. We're going to go in with the colours we already have to colour everything else. And I don't have a smaller brush, so we're going to use this one that's far too big. Because I do have... Right. I might try with my water brush. Now I will say, I sort of betray water brushes because I don't generally put water in them. But they do come to a lovely point. Right. So I'm going to go for the petals here. I'm going to go for blue on the outside. The aforementioned fly just tried to commit Harry Carry on the window. There's a blind in the way. Oh, he's back. Okay. And then I do think we need a purple. Oh, I tell you what, should I bring some eco lines in? You can do this with your watercolour inks if you've got the dropper ones. Okay. But yeah, do you know what? Yes. Let's try and combo it. Right? So then I'm going to use this is the Ecoline Magenta. Okay. I'm going to pull some of that colour out. Now this is not necessarily watercolour Ecoline friendly cardstock, but luckily we don't let such things slow us down or alter our plans, do we? So we're just going to carry on regardless, as the song says. Okay. I have noticed though that is not a petal, so it needs some of the other colours around it, but we'll worry about that when it's a bit more dry. Okay. What colour was that? That was blue, wasn't it? Okay, so I do have... Oh, again, we're going to use some eco lines, weren't we? Right, I'm going to go for... You could keep painting with your inks. I'm just trying to bring in some more mediums. Okay, so we're going to go for the bronze green, which has sort of got a really warm tone to it, almost like an orangey hue. Okay, and just the green. Alright, so we're going to go down here with the bronze green, and we're going to go up there with the bronze green, and down there with the bronze green. Okay, and then we're going to get the green, and we're going to go down there with the green, down there with the green, and down there with the green. And this has a lot of blue on it right now, but we're not going to worry about that either. And we're just going to use our blending medium, aka water, to bring those two together. And then on to the next. So the next one, we're going to use the teal, which is the turquoise green in the middles. And then this is quite a dark purple, so I'm going to put this, scribble this in there. Okay. And then we're just going to use our eco line out of the palette. And go over the join in here. Okay, and then we'll go back to our two greens. So you can see I didn't draw that very well because it bled out a little bit, but that's fine. Go over. And then, so it's sort of like this watercolour effect, but with a line, if that makes sense. I've just dropped a lid. That could be fatal in here. You're going to have to bear with. I can't. There's many things I'll just let disappear into the abyss. But the lid for a pen is a niente. Got it. Marvellous. Right. Now I'm just going to grab 4 colours. I think we're going to go with the Holy Trinity plus 1. We're going to go with a red, a yellow, a blue, and a green. Okay. Now, what I'm about to do, you could do with any of your markers. Yeah, I'm going to go with that more sunflower yellow, actually. I'm just going to dry this off a little bit, because all the inks we're using are water reactive, okay? So you get any of them any more wet, for want of a better description, and they will just keep on reacting, won't they? So we're going to dry them off whilst we add in some more. Beautiful, page 3 stunner. Right, so we're going to take our yellow and we're going to go in all these ones that aren't in a really yellowy place, so they stand out. Well, I suppose that one's not really yellowy. Might be. Okay. And then we're going to take our red. Now the red, luckily, we can put absolutely anywhere because we didn't put any red in the background. So we're going to make these, and I'm not even going to watercolour these. It's going to be quite flat. Which I think is nice. And that one. Okay. Oh, and that one. Then we're going to go to our blue. Okay. New goodies. Yes, new stamp set today, Sharon. A new doodle art. Do check it out. Wowzers. That is an intense blue. No, too much. I'm going to abandon that exceedingly quickly for a sky. Oh, yes, that's much more. Wowzers. I was not prepared. I was not prepared. Here we go. And then we're going to go to the green. Okay. And basically, I'm going to fill in all the ones that are left over with the green. I'm actually not, because that's going to be too many. That one's going to be red. Change my mind, that one's going to be green. That one's going to be red. Okay. And I'm going to take my brighter yellow from earlier. Okay. And I'm simply going to fill in the gaps of anywhere where I was too chicken to try and make the brush go, because I knew I would make a mess. Now, don't worry if your eco line picks up some more colour. You can just work it off. It's nothing to worry about. It's only really noticeable on the yellow one anyway, so if you're really worried about it, don't use the yellow one. That gap in there. That gap in there. That gap in there. Okay. I think I'm going to have to use the pink just to highlight around the end of some of these petals. It's a little bit messy. But then if that looks a little bit too much, see, all you do is you get your water brush again. I'm just going to flood that a little. Okay. Now we need to put the middle into our dancing daisies. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is flood it with the yellow. And then basically drop some purple in. Purple? No. orange and allow it to migrate naturally. And then I'm not in control of it. And then I'm just going to heat it. What time are we on? See? Oh, it's blooming 9:15. Yeah, I know, but I haven't done a try out Tuesday for ages due to my lack of electricity. Because I missed a week, I feel like I have to make sure I carry them over, don't I? Okay, I am going to close this now because what's left is reasonably fine work, and that's just going to be a quick go with a pen. Because this is very minute, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, basically we're just going to come in here and do that stem. We'll come in there, do that stem and that leaf. Okay, we're going to take this beautiful sunflowery colour to do the centres. Okay, and then we're going to do this one. Blue. See, Julia McNeil is probably watching this horrified. For this is a woman that spends hours colouring it. Okay. And then for that one, yeah, let's go with a pinky pink. So I'm just going to go in with the tip and just go around each petal. And again, same thing. Okay, if there is white bits where you know, you're like, no, I'm not trying to go in there with my pen, or you missed it with a brush, go in with a really nice mixy up colour that you've been using, and you will find, you know, even on your leaf, because it's a really nice highlight for green, your yellow, so you can always just go around, because if it mixes with the green, more the power to you. Now, the circles, I'm thinking I'm actually going to leave white. I am. And what I'm looking for now is my Posca pen, which has returned from the Posca del Sol during the Tidy Up, the Great Tidy Up of 2023. Okay. So we're going to shake that up, bring it back to life, because, you know, it should just be happy to be here. Okay, but whilst we're waiting, we're going to grab some other Doodle Art stamps. And I am going to go for the Doodle Art Dragonfly, okay, which has got lots of awesome little bits in it. Okay, and we're going to take our little bits and we're going to stamp in the colours that we have used. Okay, so I'm going to take, up, Chuck. So you see this lovely little arrow here? Okay, I am going to just reach seamlessly across to my Distress Oxide. I'm going to grab some abandoned coral. I'm going to put this in a few different places. Okay, and then I'm going to be like, right, I've had enough of that one. So, oh, they look very handy, don't they? Yes, they do indeed. So I'm going to grab those. I'm going to go for another colour this time. I'm going to head over to the greens section. Yes, there is a green section. Thank you very much. And we're going to go for some Lucky Clover. Okay, so we're going to get some Lucky Clover and we're going to get these stripy stripes and we're going to go up and down here. Okay, Sammy Green, let's be honest with me, because she only tells me afterwards. Have we had any of your moments whilst watching this live? She has moments where she's watching my lives like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what she's doing. I mean, it's fair, I have them, and I'm doing it, you know. So, we're going to put that to the side. And then we're going to go and we're going to get... Oh, I'll tell you what would be nice. Bit of... No, not Kitsch Flamingo. Pink raspberry. Let's go with a bright pink. Okay. And we're going to take this little flower. Alright. And we're going to take this little flower. And we're going to put this wherever we actually like. Now you're going to find in some areas it's going to come across more pinky. If you stick to the yellow sections, it's going to come across more orangey. But it is going to look fabulous wherever you go. Not at all this has always made sense. Well, I'm very glad it did to somebody. You know, that's nice. And then we're going to take this swirl here, which, by the way, I also think would make a beautiful stem for some of the flower heads, or the sunflower, or this flower head here, for example. I think, what haven't we done? Oh, a bit of a prize ribbon. Because this is quite ribbony, this one. It's got that sort of flowy feel to it. I'm just going to, do you know what, I'm going to stamp that one a few times. Just, there we go. Alright, so this is a very, very busy piece. Okay. So I'm going to put that on there. That with that. Okay. Now, I am just going to do a little heat set. Okay. Now, the only stamp I'm not going to use from our set today is actually the words, because I want to use the imagination word from Mixed Messages, which I have cut out and put on a flag here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and make that flat just for a second. I've heated it and I did water to it and just, you know. Then we're going to take some 3D foam and some scissors. So if we all enjoyed our day, though, I know some of us have had rain that we wanted it, some of us had rain and we didn't want it, and some of us, you know, are somewhere in between. Didn't have the rain and we're happy about it. So, got that there. And then we're going to take, this is your get well soon card. Hey, you never know. I didn't do my Posca in. It's like you weren't even going to tell me. Right. So I'm going to have to do post-adhesive Posca in. Okay. So I'm going to take my Posca. Goodness gracious. I've lost my backing card for the new stamps. I'm not even joking. I knew this tidy thing was too good to last. Here we go. Now, if you are using the backing card for your colouring inspiration, there is also white highlighters on there. So if you're not really sure where to start with that, they are right there. Okay. But basically, you just follow. You put wherever you want, actually. You can't get it wrong. That, like I say, is the beauty of the doodle art stamps, because they are so simple in how they're drawn, and it's like I say, a really relaxed, easy flowing sort of style. You can't go wrong with it. You just can't. It also makes it really easy if you are cutting them out, because if you miss one line, you can just go for the next one, you know, because that's the one you always intended, really. So we're just going to put some dots all down the centre of each petal. Okay, on here. if I am just going to be finishing with the white Posca pen now, so I do totally understand if you're like, no, she's been going on, I'm going to go get me a drink now. I will promise to put up a picture of the finished thing, and we're going to put a couple of white dots in the centre. But look how cool those centres have blended. You know how I just did like the lemon zest puddle and then just dropped some orange into it? See, it does it all for you. It does the work for you. You haven't got to worry. Okay. And then this, I'm going to do some really little dots all around the outside of the leaf. I will say, if you are using your dilution sprays, you actually will get a better white result the day after, if you leave it overnight to dry. You will find it's because it gets right into the core of the card, which is a good thing. Joined late just in time for the fabulousness. Oh, bless you. How are you, sweetie? Okay, and then we're going to go down here. And then I feel like this border needs some white dots because this has gone to a very blue place, hasn't it? Okay, I think I'm done. I think. No, but obviously you could add 3D elements onto here. You could put some sequins on here. You could use, for example, your white enamel accents from Ranger. You've got your white enamel accents. That would be lovely to add some dots on. Really, really nice. You could use your dilution shimmer sprays to paint with. And that would give an awesome effect because, you know, you'd have that little bit of shimmer as well. And let's face it, we love. So I just thought, what I thought was, both of our lovely ladies that did lives today gave you some beautiful ideas and inking and smushing with some beautiful colours and whatever. But you see, they were rather refined, weren't they? They were beautiful. Ever so refined. So I basically just went as far as I could in the other direction when it comes to being refined, i.e. not being refined at all. You know. So I'm just going to... There you go, so because I think you can see it better on the black. The white is better for when I'm doing it. The black is better for seeing the finished resultarino. Okay. So, all I will say is I think this is a really good example as well. If you are throwing lots of colour at a project at any point, and you're thinking, I've gone too far. I've gone too far, it's too much. No, it isn't. It's similar, and think of that as an art journal page as well. This is why I'm always saying art journaling, card making, even scrapbooking, because that could have a photo on it. They're not separate. They're the same. It's paper craft. It just depends where you're putting the finished thing, whether it's in a book or on a card or something like that, or even in a frame. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was lots of fun. I really did, because it's just so much colour. And a lot of the time now, I don't know about you, I try to, you know, well, no, everything's trying to be more neatly placed. Even when I'm being messy crafty, that you've just got to sort of go with the flow and go where the ink flows as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you need any help finding anything on the website, as always, please let us know. Bye.